Deyam Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurvabhista Supurakam Guru Ganai Rashisha Shambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam Shri Rupa Pantanugam Govinda Vidhamujvalang Varatanang Bhaktyan Vitang Sundaram Bande Vishwa Gurum Chadipya Bhagavat Premno Hi Bija Pradam Devam Divyatanam Sachandavaranam Balaka Chalanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim Shri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhaktilasitam Sarasvatanambaram Bande Tang Shubhadam Madhakesharanam Nyashishvaram Sridharam Shri Siddhanta Sarasvati Virito Gaurya Gurvanvaye Bhato Banariva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Mayavaditi Mingiloda Ragatan Udritya Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sudabdigahan Asukang Pradat Prabhum Tang Bhaje Namo Gora Kishoraya Bhaktavaduta Murtaye Gaurangri Padma Bringaya Radha Baba Sevanem Vande Bhakti Vinodanam Shri Gaura Shakti Svarupakam Bhakti Shastra Kyasam Rajam Radha Rasa Suranidhim Gaura Vraja Shita Shishaya Vaishnavir Vandya Vigraham Jagannatha Prabhum Vande Premabdhim Vriddha Vaishnavam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tije Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shri Vas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. What is the very first instruction that a Guru gives the disciples? What was the first instruction your Guru gave to you?
Like chant the whole name and follow the principles when I took initiation.
And anything else?
Remember Krishna and never forget Krishna.
What?
Remember Krishna and never forget.
Remember Krishna, never forget. Yes, okay, all is very good. I'm steering towards when the Guru is giving the beads, then the first instruction is, yes, to chant the holy name, all those things, but to learn the 10 offenses and avoid them. So you have all learnt that. Have you followed the very first instruction? You know the 10 offenses to the holy name?
No, I don't remember all.
Sort of. Okay. Well, it's a good time to revise, and today then we can chant on page 23 of the Yellow Songbook the composition by Srila Gurudev about the 10 offenses to the holy name. And it's good for us to revise. We learn at the beginning, but if we don't keep repeating and revising, then we can lose it. Like you say, generally we may remember, but we want to specifically remember. And remember, learn the 10 offenses to the holy name and avoid them. So the first offense is to the Vaishnavas. Harinama Mahamantra Sarva Mantra Sara Jarira Karuna Bale Jagate Pracha Pracha Jarira Karuna Bale Jagate Prachara Se Nama Parayana Sadhu Mahajana Taharera Nindana Kori Hokarachana. And the second offense is to the Vaishnavas. Brajendra Nandan, first offense is Vaishnavas, second offense is to Vishnu, Vaishnavas and Vishnu. Brajendra Nandan Krishna Savishvareshvara Maheshvara Aditara Sevana Tatpara Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Swarupa Veda Jnana Nakari Velila Guna Rupa. And the third is to Guru, to offend Guru. Guru Krishna Rupa Hon Shastrera Pramane Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Kore Bhagyavane Se Guru Te Martya Buddhi Avagyari Tyaji Ishtalabha Karo Nirantara Nama Bhaji. Fourth offense is to the Shastra, which is the written word of our Guru Vada. Shruti Shruti Matasaha Satvata Purana Srinamacharana Padma Kore Nirajana Se Shruti Shastra Jeva Koroye Nindana Se Aparadhira Sangha Kori Bevajana. And then the fifth offense is to consider the glories exaggeration. Exaggeration. Namera Mahima Sava Shastrite Bakane Natishtuti Heno Kabuna Bhavihamane Agasya Ananta Brahma Shivari Satata Jaina Mama Himagata Sankirtana Rata Sena Mama Hima Sindhu Kepai Bepara Natistuti Bole Jai Se Durachara. Sixth is considered, the name is imaginary or mundane. Krishna Nama Balinetya Goloke Radhana Kaupita Prakrita Bhave Aparadi Jana. And seventh is sin. Seven is sin, to sin on the strength of chanting the name. Name Sava Papa Kaya Sava Shastra Kaya Papa kori se bharasaya. E mata durbudi jara se aparadhi. Maya pravanchita dukha bhunje niravadhi. And eighth is piety, to consider the name to be the same as pious activities. Atulya Shri Krishna Nama Purna Rasa Nidhi. Tara Sama Nabhaviha Shubha Karma Ari. The ninth is to give the name and chant the glories to the offenders, to those who are faithless, rather, to those who are faithless. Name Shraddha Hina Janna Girhata Vanchita. Tare Namadane Aparada Sunishchita. And the 10th is to maintain material attachment despite all the good evidence we've heard. Shunni Shunyana Krishna Nama Mahatmya Apara. Jai Priti Rahita Se Naradhama Chara. Nalanta Mamata Jara Antare Bahire. Shuddha Krishna Nama Tara Khabu Nahi Spure. And now comes the good news. One who follows all these 10, avoids all these 10 offenses, wonderful things will happen. Edasha aparara karya vajana. Edasha aparara karya vajana. Jena janna kare hari nama sankirtana. Apurva Shri Krishna nama labhya tare hoya. Nama Prabhu tare re nitya vilasaya. Edasha aparada kariya vajana. Jena jana kare hari nam sankirtana. Apurva Shri Krishna nama labhya tare hoya. Nama Prabhu tara re nitya vilasaya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And then page 281 in the songbook. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhu kohe lane mahamantra. Prabhu kohe lane mahamantra. Iha japa giya sobe korya nirbandha. Iha hoite sab siddhi hoibe sabara. Savakhan bolo ite vidi nahi ara. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ki shayane, ki bojane, ki vajagarane. Ki shayane, ki bhojane, ki vajagarane. Ahanisha chinta Krishna balaho vadane. Ama prati sneha jari take sabakara. Krishna vina keha kichu na bolibe ara. Krishna vina keha kichu na bolibe ara. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. So the 10 offenses of the holy name are Vaishnava, key words. So one word will remind you of the rest, assuming you learned once upon a time the 10. So V and V. Vaishnava, V, Vishnu. Then Guru, then Shastra. Guru and Shastra, you can think. Vaishnava, Vishnu. Vaishnava first, Vishnu. Guru and Shastra comes from the Guru Vaga, the scripture. So the Guru and Shastra, you can think. Then the next two are exaggeration and mundane. So to think the glories are exaggeration is 4. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 6 is to think the name is mundane. Make dictionary dictionary analysis of the word, the name, things like this. So 5 is exaggeration, and then 6 is to consider the name is mundane. They're kind of related as well. So 1 and 2, Vaishnava Vishnu. 3 and 4, Guru and Shastra. 3 is Guru, 4 is Shastra. Then exaggeration and mundane. So key words, one word to remind you. And then 7 is easy. In English, at least, and you all know English, 7 is sin. 7 is sin. So we can remember that. And in the offenses to the Holy Dham, where you are now, which is Holy Dham, in those offenses, number 7 is sin, also to commit sin in the Holy Dham, and to commit sin on the strength of chanting the holy name. Okay, 7, so you only have 3 more to go. Easy. So 8 is piety, to equate chanting the names of the Lord with doing pious activities, giving in charity, digging wells, opening hospitals, schools, all sorts of things like that, or doing austerities, penances, standing on one leg for 10,000 years, or whatever it may be. And so that's, anyway, it's a key word. Piety. So 8 is piety, 9 is faithless, to give the holy name or to chant the glories of the holy name to the faithless, who are just, you say something and they're going to give some offensive reaction. We should not cause offense. We should not be the cause of others making offense. We should be the cause of others getting out of offense. So we want to give some little faith, and then we can give some chanting of the glories. That's 9. There's only 1 more to go. And number 10 is, oh dear, maintaining material attachment despite all the good evidence we've heard from the scriptures, the sadhus. So now easily you can remember. Vaishnava, Vishnu, Guru, Shastra, exaggeration, mundane. 7 is sin. Then piety, faithless, and attachment, material attachment. Okay? Remembered? Tomorrow. By tomorrow morning. Okay, by tomorrow morning will be remembered. All right, let's just come to the...
Maharaj, what about reading the translation of that last song that you read?
Yes, please, Saraswati, read the translation. And this is Mahaprabhu's instruction. Prabhu kohe, Mahaprabhu said, Kohilan, I have explained, this Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Iha japa, Giya, Sobe, Koriya, Nirbanda. Iha hoite, Sava Siddhi hoibe sabara. Savakshana, every moment, bolo. Ite, this vidhi nahe ara. There is no other instruction than this. Ki shayane, ki bojane, ki vajagarane. Ahanisha chinta Krishna boloho badane. Ama prati sneha jadi take sabakara. Krishna bina keha kichu na bolibe ara. Only talk about Krishna, take Krishna's name. Don't speak of anything else. Okay, the Lord said, Saraswati speaking.
I have told you this Maha Mantra, so everyone now chant it in proper measure. By doing this, you will attain success in all respects. There is no other rule but to chant it at every moment, whether resting, eating, or waking, day and night. Think of Krishna and call his name aloud. This is from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya 23, 77, 78, 28, 28.
Yes, it's not exactly one line quotation, but they sing this in the mat. And so this is the mat songbook. And happily, in its Mahaprabhu's instruction, all right, so don't speak of anything else. Don't do anything else except Krishna Nam, Krishna Leela, and Krishna Seva, anything to do with Krishna. But not Maya, not the football match and the cricket. We're in England, the cricket match. England like cricket very much, and India likes cricket very much, which I can't understand at all. But many things we cannot understand. Hare Krishna. So coming to the reading, and reading today from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, continuing Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai, and its author, who is the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita? Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. And Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Ki Jai. And the author of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat is? Yes, Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Okay. Everyone's getting breakfast here in the temple this morning. Okay. So, and Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj Ki Jai, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Shriha Maharaj Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai, Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Bhaga Ki Jai. So, oh yes, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had written 2 verses on palm leaves, but then wasn't it Mukunda took them from him? Was it Mukunda? It was Jagadananda and Mukunda, yes. Jagadananda was took some prasadam to Mahaprabhu and those palm leaves, but Mukunda took the palm leaves from Jagadananda, wrote the slokas on the wall outside the house. When Mahaprabhu read the slokas, he immediately tore up the leaf because it was glorification of the Lord. And the glorification was, okay, we'll read those 2 verses, why not? So we're starting in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, and we're recapping yesterday Madhya Leela chapter 6. We'll read the translations of the 2 verses that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya composed and sent to Mahaprabhu. And these 2 verses, A Dui Shloka, Bhakta Kanta, Ratnahara, Sarvabhaumira Kirti Ghoshe, Dhaka Vyajakara. Dhaka, of a drum. Okay, so these 2 verses composed by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya will always declare his name and fame as loudly as a pounding drum, for they have become pearl necklaces around the necks of all devotees. So, translation, 2nd verse, then 1st verse. And what are those 2 verses? Let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to teach us real knowledge. To teach us real knowledge, his devotional service, and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He has descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto his lotus feet. Let my consciousness, which is like a honeybee, take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has just now appeared as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to teach the ancient system of devotional service to himself. This system had almost been lost due to the influence of time. And then, what we just read, these 2 verses composed by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya will always declare his name and fame as loudly as a pounding drum, for they have become pearl necklaces around the necks of the devotees. Indeed, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became an unalloyed devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He did not know anything but the service of the Lord. He always chanted the holy name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Indeed, chanting the holy names became his meditation. All right, and then today we're beginning on text 259, Madhya Leela, chapter number 6. And we're beginning with the words, Ekkadina, one day. One day, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya came before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and after offering obeisances, began to recite a verse. So that in Bengali, so first of all, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So that verse in Bengali, Ekadina Sarvabhauma Prabhu Age Aila Namaskara Kori Shloka Parite Lagila. Lagila began and recite a sloka, began to recite a sloka. And Bhagavatera Brahmastavira Shloka Parila Shloka Ch.Ch Dui Akshara Pata Firaila. He began to quote one of Lord Brahma's prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam, but he changed 2 syllables at the end of the verse. And the verse is Tatenu kampang shusha mikshamano bhunjana evatma kritang vipakam hridvag vapurbi vidadhan namaste jivete yo bhakti pade se daya bhak. The Bhattacharya recited, quote, one who seeks your compassion, capital Y, the Lord, and thus tolerates all kinds of adverse conditions due to the karma of his past deeds, who engages always in your devotional service with his mind, words, and body, and who always offers obeisances unto you, is certainly a bona fide candidate for becoming your unalloyed devotee. But Prabhu Kohe, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Mukti Pada, Iha Pata Hoya. This is written in the book. Mukti Pada, Mukti Pade, Prabhu Kohe, Mukti Pade, Iha Pata Hoya. Bhakti Pade Keno Para, Ki Tomara Ashaya. Why have you changed it to Bhakti Pade? So Mahaprabhu immediately pointed out, in that verse the word is Mukti Pade, but you have changed it to Bhakti Pade. What is your intention? Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya being asked, so he answers, Bhattacharya Kohe. Bhakti Sama Nahe Bhakti Sama Nahe Mukti Phala. Bhagavat Bhakti Vimukhera Hoya Danda Kevala. Okay, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, the awakening of pure love of Godhead, which is the result of devotional service, far surpasses liberation from material bondage. For those averse to devotional service, merging into the Brahman effulgence is a kind of punishment. For those averse to devotional service, who are opposed to devotional service, merging into the Brahman effulgence is a kind of punishment. Just see. The Bhattacharya continued. The impersonalists who do not accept the transcendental form of Lord Krishna, and the demons who are always engaged in blaspheming and fighting with him, are punished by being merged into the Brahman effulgence. But that does not happen to the person engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. There are 5, this is Sarvabhauma answering. After all, Mahaprabhu asked him why he changed from Mukti Pade to Bhakti Pade. Sarvabhauma continuing, there are 5 kinds of liberation: Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Shastri, and Sayujya. And you know all of those. Quote, purport. Salokya, and purport by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Salokya means that after material liberation, one is promoted to the planet where the Supreme Personality of Godhead resides. Samipya means remaining an associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarupya means attaining a four-handed form, exactly like that of the Lord. Typing mistake, BBT, there's a typing mistake here. Shasti means attaining opulences like those of the Supreme Lord. And Sayujya means merging into the Brahman effulgence of the Lord. These are the 5 types of liberation. Okay, anyway, today you don't have to learn them. Today you have to learn 10 offenses to the holy name of the Lord, the first instruction given by Guru. Okay, next verse, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya continuing to speak. Salokyadi chari jadi hoya seva dvara tabu karachit bhakta kore angikara. If there is a chance to serve the Supreme Lord, a pure devotee sometimes accepts Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya or Shastri forms of liberation, but never Sayujya, the merging into the body of the Lord. Sayujya shunnite bhaktera hoya grinna bhaya naraka vanchaye tabu sayujya na loya. A pure devotee does not like even to hear about Sayujya Mukti, which inspires him with fear and hatred. Indeed, the pure devotee would rather go to hell than merge into the effulgence of the Lord. Think of that when you're next on the tube in London, where there's no light and no good air. I'd rather be here than merge into the effulgence of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
By tube we are going to Green Street.
Well, that's another thing, isn't it? You have to go through hell, perhaps to go from one oasis to another. You have to go through the desert, the scorching desert. All right, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is still speaking. There are 2 kinds of Sayujya Mukti, merging into the Brahman effulgence, the rays, and merging into the personal body of the Lord. Merging into the Lord's body is even more abominable than merging into his effulgence. Hare Krishna. Oh, well, this has definitely brought a very long purport from Srila Prabhupada. So, if there is plenty of homework here, if someone would like homework, there's plenty of homework to read the purport to text 269. And the text was Brahme Ishvare Sayujya Duvita Prakara Brahma Sayujya Haite Ishvara Sayujya Dikara. And Dikara, more abominable. Hare Krishna. Next verse. And so now Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, after explaining that, is giving a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Kapila Dev speaking in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is quoting the verse. So this is Sanskrit. Salokya Shastri Samipya Sarupyai Katvam Apyuta Diyamanang na grinnanti bina matsevanang janaha. Quote, even though he is offered all kinds of liberation, the pure devotee does not accept them. He is fully satisfied engaging in the service of the Lord. So this was his answer, Sarvabhauma's answer to Mahaprabhu. Then Mahaprabhu said, what is that going to be in Bengali? Mahaprabhu said. Ram? Oh, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu kohe. Prabhu kohe. Mukti pade ra ara ata hoya. There's another meaning of mukti pada. Mukti pada shabde shakshat ishvara kahoya. So, Lord said, the word mukti pada has another meaning. Mukti pada directly refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we went a few years ago to Mukti Nath. And there we are going there. With this idea, remembering Mahaprabhu's direction. Mukti pade jara, se mukti pada hoya. Kimva navama padata, muktira samashraya. Shelter of all. All kinds of liberation exist under the feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is known as Mukti Pada. According to another meaning, Mukti is the 9th subject, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the shelter of liberation. Now you're going to ask me, what are the 8 subjects, aren't you? Our Personality of Godhead is the 10th subject. Okay, I'll read you the purport. Lord Sri Krishna is also known as Mukunda, or he who gives transcendental bliss by offering all kinds of mukti. Srimad Bhagavatam is divided into 12 cantos, and in the 9th canto, different kinds of mukti are described. But the 10th canto is the actual center of all discussions of mukti, because the Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is the 10th subject discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam, is the exclusive subject of the 10th canto, since all types of muktis reside at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Therefore, he may be called Mukti Pada. Okay, next verse. Dui ati, 2 meanings. Krishna kohi. Kene pata firi. Kene pata firi. Oh, kene pata firi. Okay, then Sarvabhauma kohe. O pata kohete na pari. So Mahaprabhu said, since I can understand Krishna according to these 2 meanings, then what point is there in changing the verse? Okay, yes. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, I was not able to give that reading to the verse. Although Mahaprabhu, your explanation is correct, it should not be used because there is ambiguity in the word mukti pada. This still Sarvabhauma sticking to his idea why he changed the word. The word, and Sarvabhauma is still continuing, the word mukti refers to 5 kinds of liberation, but its direct meaning usually conveys the idea of becoming one with the Lord. The very sound of the word mukti immediately induces hate and fear. But when we say the word bhakti, we naturally feel transcendental bliss within the mind. So nice. I saw all the devotees here shivering with fear when they heard the word mukti. Then they all became happy and smiling when they heard the word bhakti. Oh, now smiling. Shunniya hasena prabhu anindita mane. Bhattacharya koila prabhu dridha alingane. Very beautiful. So upon hearing this explanation, the Lord began to laugh and with great pleasure immediately embraced Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya very firmly. Indeed, next verse, indeed that very person who had been accustomed to reading and teaching Mayavad philosophy was now even hating the word mukti. This was possible only by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That verse in Bengali, Jai Bhattacharya Pade Paraya Mayavade Tara Aiche Bhakya Spure Chaitanya Prasade. Okay? As long, and now this is Krishnadas Kaviraj writing, as long as it does not turn iron into gold by its touch, no one can recognize an unknown stone to be a touchstone. And the thing is, in the West, generally everyone thinks that a touchstone was just a story, a fable, like Tom and Jerry or Disneyland or something like this. But touchstone really existed, and even in relatively recent times, in the time of Sanatana Goswami, there was such thing as touchstone was known and existed. And maybe now. I heard that this story about Sanatana Goswami and the touchstone. And then when that man who heard that Sanatana Goswami, he has a touchstone, maybe I can get it from him. And he went to Sanatana Goswami and said, I heard you have a touchstone. Can I have it? And I heard you have no need for it because you're a sadhu. Can I have it? And Sanatana said, oh yes, of course. And then he asked, so where did you... then Sanatana said, but I'm not sure where it is. You'll have to find it. And then, okay. And then Sanatana said, I think maybe I put it with the rubbish over there. And so that man eagerly goes through the rubbish, which, we've seen people go through rubbish for all sorts of things. And another story. One of our devotees accidentally dropped his money into a very dirty place. And really, I saw, and I was a witness to the whole thing, and I saw how eager he was in that dirt to get his money back. And so now, this man came to Sanatana Goswami, and we can kind of guess how eager he was to get that touchstone. So he's going through the garbage to find, and then, I got the touchstone. And then he's going away with the touchstone. And then something comes in his mind that Sanatana Goswami, he's given me this touchstone so readily, then he must have something more valuable. If he gives this away so easily, he must have something more valuable. So he went, and it's all Krishna's arrangement. He went back to Sanatana Goswami and said, I think you have something more valuable that you're not giving me. You easily let me take this. And then Sanatana said, yes, I have. And then he said, can I have it? Well, yes, but there's some condition. Okay, well, of course I'll do that condition. What is it? That is, that touchstone, you throw it in the Jamuna. You throw it far away. You leave it. Then come back to me. Then I give you much more valuable than that touchstone. Then, because of some previous sukriti, he's a very fortunate person. Due to some previous sukriti, he came back to Sanatana. He went to the Jamuna, threw it in the Jamuna, and came back to Sanatana. Yes, and submitted his lotus feet with humility, with all of these things, submit to him. And then Sanatana Goswami gave him the holy name. How valuable is the holy name? Initiated him into the holy name. But then we heard, that after the time of the Goswamis, after Mahaprabhu's era, the time of the Goswamis, many fully tragic things happened in Vrindavan. It's told that the river ran red, the Jamuna ran red with the blood of slaughter, all these things. And many very heavy things took place. And those who came to try to conquer Vrindavan, it's told they heard so many stories and things, and that they dredged the Jamuna with some nets and things, trying to find that touchstone, because they'd heard, there's a touchstone in the river Jamuna, and they came to dredge it, searching for the touchstone, but somehow Krishna didn't let them find it. But I won't be surprised if someone hears it and goes back there and with modern technology and some sonar thing, and we're going to find that touchstone. Okay, but as long as it does not turn iron into gold by its touch, no one can recognize an unknown stone to be a touchstone. And upon seeing transcendental Vaishnavism in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, everyone could understand that Lord Chaitanya was none other than Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Hare Krishna. After this incident, all the inhabitants of Jagannath Puri, headed by Kashi Mishra, came to take shelter of the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Later I shall describe how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya always engaged in the service of the Lord. I shall also describe in full detail how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya perfectly rendered service to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by offering him alms, ALMS. Hare Krishna. Then, Mahaprabhura Leela Sarvabhauma Milana Iha Jai Shraddha Kori Shravana Jnana Karma Pasha Hoite Hoya Vimochana Achile Milaye Tara Chaitanya Charana. Beautiful. If one hears with faith and love, that's you, these pastimes concerning Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's meeting with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he very soon is freed from the net of speculation and fruitive activity and attains the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. And verse 286 is Sri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Jarasha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. So that's the end of this chapter. And then next chapter, tomorrow, the Lord begins his tour of South India. Unstoppable. He's taken sannyas, he's come to Puri, converted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and now he's going to go to South India. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. And we have no minutes left, if we are actually just stopped at 8 o'clock, but we are going to read at least something from Revealed Truth. Yes, I got the name right. Revealed Truth by Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. To make it a bit bigger, because the writing a little small. All right, so Revealed Truth, we're reading at the bottom of page 49, so quite close to the beginning of the book. And Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, the author, and Jai Shri Revealed Truth, the book, Ki Jai. And Gurudev beginning by quoting a verse which everybody is very familiar with. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Koriya Aikya Arana Koriho Mane Asha. And which means by Sri Guru's grace, the soul crosses over this world and reaches Krishna. Make the teachings from the lotus mouth of Sri Guru one with your heart. Do not desire anything else. Srila Gurudev saying. So Srila Gurudev. If any sincere seeker can follow the advice of Gurudev, then he must receive Krishna's mercy. Krishna himself has given us 200% assurance of that. Yesterday we were saying 24 hours and 25 hours, right? So here Gurudev, he is saying 200% here. Then Krishna himself has given us 200% assurance of that. We must have full faith in the transcendental knowledge. We must have full faith in the transcendental knowledge that is revealed through Gurudev. It is actually not necessary to follow any advice from any other quarter. It is only necessary to wholeheartedly follow with full faith the teachings, orders, and service responsibilities which come from Gurudev. And same kirtan, Shri Guru Charanne Rati Se Uttamagati Jai Prasadi Puri Sabasha. If you are determined to follow the order of Gurudev properly, with chastity and sincerity, then you will get everything through his service. Jai Prasadi Pure Sarva Asha. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave us this most clear conception that Gurudev is a teacher and Gurudev is a servitor. And Gurudev saying, Gurudev is actually Krishna's supreme servitor. Kintu praborya priya eva tasya. He shows his form in this way. You will receive full spiritual benefit when you see what Gurudev is doing and how he is satisfying the Lord. You will be most benefited when you see that he is giving you service for the satisfaction of his divine Lord. When you see Gurudev in this way, you will receive all hope and facility to satisfy the Lord. And Gurudev still quoting, so this is very good translation and explanation of Sri Guru Charana Padma Kirtan that we are singing. Chakshudanna diloye janme janme prabhose dibya jnana hride prakashito. Which means attachment to Sri Guru's feet is the best path. By his mercy all desires are fulfilled. He who gave me the gift of eyes, who revealed divine knowledge in my heart, is my Lord, birth after birth. And of course that means the eye to see what is what. Chakshu dana dila je janme janme prabhu se dibya jnana hride prakashito. So Gurudev is saying, proper transcendental vision comes to us through Gurudev. Everything in this world is mundane, but the transcendental plane can be revealed anywhere and everywhere within this within this material world. That is what makes the transcendental plane transcendent or transcendent. That's what makes the transcendental plane transcendent. For example, when a flower falls from a tree, we do not care so much for that flower. It may have fallen on the road, and we may smash it as we walk without caring. But when a flower is offered to the lotus feet of the deity, or offered to a respectable Vaishnava or Gurudev, then we no longer ignore or disrespect that flower. We take it on our head and give it proper honor. Why? Not because we see anything different about the flower, but because our knowledge tells us that it has been offered to the Lord. And whenever anything is offered to the Lord, it takes on a transcendental form. This is transcendental vision. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Je dina grihe bhajana deki grihe te goloka bhaya. When I see my whole family satisfying the Lord through their activities, when I see their practices like chanting the holy name, worshipping the deity, and offering the foods to the deity, when I see all of the activity of my family is God-centric, then I feel my family is not mundane and does not live in a mundane environment. It actually has a transcendental form. This sort of transcendental knowledge comes to us through Gurudev. Okay, I better stop here. I better stop here because we have to stop somewhere. And it's 8 o'clock. Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Jai Shri Revealed Truth ki Jai. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Giri Hari Govinda Jai Om Vishnupada Shri Gurudev Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Om Vishnupada Shri Guru Maharaj Shri Bhakti Rakha Kira Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupada Bhagavan Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Rupa Nuga Guru Bhanga Ki Jai Vishnu Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nama Chandra Shri Hari Ras Thakur Ki Jai Shri Sai Goswami Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai All the assembled devotees Ki Jai all the unlimited worldwide devotees Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi
Jai Shri Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki
Jai.
And I'm letting it go. Krishna Krishna. Somebody knows how to turn this off? If you know, don't touch.